Screen of the Week, an overview of a timely strategy aimed at helping you become a more effective stock screener. Stocks with upgraded broker ratings is what we are screening for this week with resident top stock screener Kevin Matras, who joins me now once again. I don't know whether this comes at an appropriate time or not, given what the market is doing, but it seems like, in general, the more of these types of stocks in someone's portfolio, the better. Is that right?
Absolutely. Look, I'm sure we've all had the pleasure of waking up and seeing one of our stocks upgraded by one of the brokers covering it. And usually when that happens, that stock is going to be in for a good day that day, probably several days, if not weeks to follow, especially if there is some meaty reason behind it. Unfortunately, we've probably all had the experience of waking up and seeing one of our stocks downgraded as well. And unfortunately, that stock is probably going to be in for a rough day and probably several days to follow. And while nobody can perfectly guard against which stock is going to be downgraded or accurately predict which stock is going to be upgraded, it's important to understand how the stocks react to these things. So this way, if you're in a stock that's upgraded, you can stay in, or if you're on the fence, you can get in. Also, too, if you're in a stock that gets downgraded, you should seriously consider getting out of it.
Yeah, staying in winners, getting out of losers, obviously more desirable in investing, not always easy to do.
Yeah, that's a good key to success. What's interesting, though, in this tumultuous market is I have been running screens lately to try to find stocks that have recently been upgraded by the brokers. And the reason why I'm doing this is because tests have shown that companies that have recently been upgraded outperform those that haven't been, and they outperform even more so companies that have been downgraded. Now, a lot of people wonder by how much. Well, I did some testing to find out just how much.
Okay.
So I've got 3 screens, and I did this test over a 10-year period. So check this out. In the first screen, I looked at only companies with broker rating upgrades, so there was a positive change in their average broker rating. In the second screen, I looked at companies where there was no change at all. Whatever the rating was, good or bad, there was no change in the rating. And then in the last screen, I looked at only companies that had received broker rating downgrades. So there was a negative change in the average broker rating.
So upgrades beat downgrades?
Yeah, you'd be right on that. Upgrades did beat downgrades, and while the tests didn't reveal anything unexpected, broker rating upgrades did beat the downgrades, the magnitude was a bit of a surprise. So check this out. If you look at the companies with broker rating upgrades, the average annual return over the last 10 years was 10.4%. Looking at the companies where there was no change, the average annual return was 6.1%. But if you look at the companies that had received broker rating downgrades, they actually experienced a loss of minus 0.3%. So the upgrades beat the companies with no change by a factor of almost twice as much, and they beat the downgrades by a significant amount. In fact, that was the difference between making money and losing money.
Okay, big difference. Quickly, some stocks that came through the screen.
Yeah, here's 5 of them. Applied Microcircuits, CAI International, Consolidated Graphics, Dolby Laboratories, and GIL and Activewear. And all of these companies have recently been upgraded by the brokers within the last 4 weeks.
Do you own any?
I do have Dolby.
Okay. And if you would like to see a text version of this week's Screen of the Week, and you are not accessing this video at Zacks.com presently, go to our homepage at Zacks.com, scroll down that homepage until you get to the picture of Kevin. He'll have a headline that is really a live link to the text piece right next to his picture. Click on it, it'll take you right to it. And if you want to receive more information on the Research Wizard, the tool that Kevin uses to achieve all of the screens here on Screen of the Week, Zacks.com/Research Wizard is where you should go online. With Kevin Matras and the Screen of the Week, I'm Terry Ruffalo.